I'm Michelle from Legal Suite, and in this webinar we are going to discuss the Proforma account for a transfer matter. Now, I am using a matter that I have previously captured, and you will also note that when we go into the Proforma account, certain items are already there. These have been brought in from my defaults, and if you need some assistance with this, please have a look at our webinar on how to set up default items for a transfer. Right, standing on our transfer, our Proforma account is located in the DocGen database. So in we go. And this little icon with the money bag is our Proforma account. Alternatively, you can press the F3 screen. Now, our Proforma account is based on two things. First of all, on our purchase price. So the program will look at the purchase price. In this case, it is 1.5 million rand, and it will base the costs on tariff on the purchase price of 1.5 million rand. Also, the Proforma account will calculate either transfer duty or VAT, or it will be zero rated. And that information is taken from the SARS details. Now here you can see that this is not a VAT transaction, so transfer duty will be calculated. And we will also have a look at how VAT is calculated. Right, so into our Proforma account we come, and you will note that our Proforma account is set out for us. All the fields are completed, and as mentioned before, various items are filled in based on the defaults. For example, our postages and petties, what we charge for rates clearance certificate, what we charge for deeds office search, and so on and so forth. Also, please note that by default, costs are paid by buyer, which is the norm in a transfer matter. If the costs are paid by the seller, you can simply put the radio button on the seller, and the Proforma account will then be addressed to that particular party. Okay, now as you can see, these items are all grayed out. You do have the option to overwrite these amounts. So for example, if I wanted to increase my postages and petties for this particular matter only, I can say insert amounts manually. The program will ask me if I wish to continue, and I can then change my postages and petties. Okay, and it will adjust the total accordingly. And as you can see, this is a transfer duty matter, so transfer duty has been calculated at the current rate on the purchase price of 1.5 million. I have the option of bringing in further items. For example, if I'm charging for FICA, I simply put the little check in the checkbox. Let's just take off my manual insertion. Right, and there we go. These have been brought in from my defaults. If you're using a correspondent and you wish to show the separate fees, our correspondence fee is taken from our fee. So if I say separate correspondence fee, you will see that our fee is then decreased. The correspondence fee is displayed, as is their postages and petties. You also have the option to insert extra debits. So if there's anything in addition you wish to add, you can simply add it to the Proforma account. So you would give it a description, give it an amount, is it VATable, and is it a fee, or is it a disbursement? And whatever amount you put in there, the total will then be adjusted accordingly. You also have the option to include banking details. So if we pop a tick in the little checkbox there, whichever trust account you selected when you set your matter up, those banking details will then be displayed at the bottom of the account, and the buyer will then know which account to pay the costs into. Right, I'm just going to close this for the time being. I'm going to go back to the SARS tab, and if this is a VAT transaction and we've said yes, okay, VAT at its standard rate, and here we are going to say that VAT is inclusive. VAT will be calculated, and if we go back to our Proforma account, you see that transfer duty has changed to VAT, and it has inserted that, and that will display on my Proforma account. If this matter is zero rated, if the buyer is a VAT vendor, the seller is a VAT vendor, and the sale agreement specifies that this is a zero rated transaction, again we can go back to our SARS tab, tell the program that this is zero rated, and if we come back into our Proforma account, you will see that there's no VAT and no transfer duty calculated. I'm just going to quickly revert this back to transfer duty. Okay, right, and there, oopsie, is our transfer duty on our purchase price of 1.5 million. Now, our Proforma account is merged from this particular screen on the little puzzle piece. If we click on this, this will then create the Proforma account in a Word document, and it will present on our taskbar at the bottom for us. So having clicked on it, the program will now merge the Proforma account for us, and there it is on our taskbar at the bottom. Right, so we open it up. Here it is on our letterhead, referenced, dated, addressed to my buyer, labeled Proforma account, description of my matter, and here is my Proforma account set out for us over here. Okay, as mentioned, here are our trust account details, so the buyer knows exactly where to pay our costs, and you would generally print out 2 copies of this, one for your file and one which you would either hand to the buyer when they pop in to sign, or you can email. And that is how we create our Proforma account for a transfer matter.